Welcome to the Praetorian Guard Quick Setup Training Course Part 3. We will resume where we last left off on the Quick Setup Training Guide. Where we last left off, we had created the computer groups. We had set up the organization, company, and a default organizational unit. We've set up one user. We've set up the prefect. We've installed the Tribune. And now we must return to our service configuration area. Move the menu up. Now you can see where the next step is we need to do the Manage Monitoring Settings. Simply click on Manage Monitoring Settings. Here we can see under our service tree layout that we have the prefect, which is the Scram PG Serve, and we have one Tribune. We will need to do our default settings at the prefect level. Simply select the PG Serve prefect, either click New Settings or double click it. This subscreen will open will allow you to do the default settings for all the Centurions installed on the system. Right now, our system is set up to receive all of its settings for each Centurion from the prefect. So all of the settings that we do in the quick setup guide should be assembled here at the prefect level. Simply click on each tab, choose the items that you wish to configure, and enable them. For our quick setup, we'll make sure everything is enabled. We'll set our screen captures to every minute. We'll keep the quality. We could do black and white images, but I like color, so we'll do color. We'll move to software inventory. We'll enable it. We'll tell it that it needs to collect this information once a day, which is software inventory. It needs to collect an hardware inventory. We'll do once a day here. PC operating inventory, we'll wish to collect this. This is dealing with operating system stuff such as users and groups on the local PC and membership there, as well as services that are running. Here we'll collect this once a day. Performance inventory, this deals with the processor usage, RAM usage, hard disk usage, etc. This is at the increment of every 5 minutes. We'll maintain this. Event log settings, we'll collect event logs. We're only worried about warnings, errors, and we want to collect it no older than the last 3 days. This should be plenty. We're not going to do any urgent event log settings at this point in time for quick setup. Click Save. Notice a check mark appears next to the prefect. This means we have assigned monitoring settings at the prefect level. Now, we can start installing our Centurions. Once again, go back to the service installation choice on the left. And now we can install the Centurions on the machines that we choose. For example, now we're going to install on our SQL box, our PG Serve, and perhaps Exchange. You don't have to actually choose them in this screen, just simply click Install Centurion. The Centurion wizard will come up. Click Next. Choose the machines on which you wish to install the Centurions. We're going to install 3 Centurions on our Exchange server, our SQL server, and our terminal server. Click Next. Now we need to test a connection to install these. You must either use your current user, who should be an administrator on every box that you're about to install a Centurion on, or you can use the prefix service credentials, or we can specify a different user. We'll click Test Connections. It will test each one of these to ensure that .NET is installed and that the connection actually works and you have the rights to install with the user you've chosen up at the top. Click Next. At this point, we need to choose our default information that will populate for these Centurions, such as what Tribune will it report to. By default, we have one Tribune, but we could change it if we had multiple at this point. If I wish to change a whole column, simply choose the item here and click the arrow button and it will copy those down. We need to choose our default company. We'll choose Scram. We'll choose our default organization unit, which we created, which was for new items, and our default computer group, which is new computers. Now we'll use this arrow to populate these items. Now we can click Next. Here we must choose our service user, password, and domain. Under our prefix, since we already assigned Centurion its password and domain, it populates in here automatically. You can change it here if you wish and copy down, or change it individually on each line. Click Next. Now we can assign special descriptions to each one of these if we so choose. We can write these are our Exchange server. We can have our SQL server and our terminal server. Click Next. Now our services will be installed. Once this is complete, we'll be able to move and complete the wizard. This will take a few moments. Now that it has successfully installed all our Centurions, we can click Next. This is the final report. We can click Finish. Now we get prompted, do you want to assign licenses to your new Centurions? This is an essential step. All licenses within the Praetorian Guard product are assigned to individual Centurions. This allows you to license your features for each Centurion in a granular basis to save you as much money as possible and to make the product give you the greatest return on your investment. Simply click Yes, as this step is required. Now it brings you to the license assignment screen. Since we're in a trial mode, we can see it here over on the right. We can see how many licenses we have of each of the product's features. User auditing has 5 licenses, event logging, hardware inventory, etc. They're all populated down the side. So to begin with, we can choose any of our given Centurions, and notice the grid down here populates, or I can choose to populate it at the Tribune level. So show me all Centurions under this Tribune. Notice we show all 3, and if I click Prefect, I will see all Centurions for the whole organization. I can also assign licenses by organizational unit, by computer group membership, and by individual computers. For ease of setup, we're simply going to choose our prefect, which gives us everything, and now we can check all because we wish to go ahead in our trial to test all of the features. Notice we have insufficient licenses for SQL maintenance on all of them, so we'll accept it, and it's still going to check everything that it can. And then we will need to click on the SQL server and assign the SQL maintenance license. One thing to remember, if whatever I have selected in this current grid down at the bottom, if I check these items, it's assigning this license to all of these members down here. In addition, I can click on any row and choose to assign licenses for the whole row for that computer, or I can choose the columns and select all of those items. However, since we're doing SQL, we need to just assign it to the SQL box. And over, we'll choose SQL Server Maintenance for our SQL Server. Now we can click Save Changes. Now we can notice that we've assigned 3 licenses for all of our different modules down the list here, and the 1 license for SQL. And it also gives the available licenses for each. At this point, our Centurions are installed on our computers and are now collecting data. You can simply go to the network administration console, the user auditing console, and start viewing data and reviewing the data that it's collected, as well as performing network administrative functions. This ends the quick setup training course. We appreciate your time. If you have any further questions, please go to praetorianguard.net and request support.